There's a Meister in the Tzvi Meisels. He was in the camp and somebody came to him with the following shaila. He's a father of children and he said, I have enough money to bribe the capos to return my son, my one and only son, of whom I love, whom I'm desperately dying to see once again. But he's been placed in one of the bunkhouses in one of the buildings that everybody knew was going to be, the next stop was going to be the gas chambers. And he was going to be killed, and this is my only son. And I love my son. I would like to keep my son. I want to see my son alive. I have enough money. I can bribe all the guards over there to bring him back to me. So Rav Meisel said, so what's the shaila? He said, the shaila is that if they take my son out, they're going to take another child to replace for the numbers. Am I allowed to bribe them to get my son back, which is going to cause another child to die? Rebbe, what am I allowed to do? What's the halacha? And the Tzvi Meisel says, I'm sorry, I can't help you. For such a shaila, you need svarim. You need a beis din of 72 rabbonim to paskin such a shaila. This is din in nefashos. I don't know the answer. He said, Rebbe, that means you tell me I'm not allowed to do it. And he said, I didn't say that. I just said I don't know the answer. He said, Rebbe, until you say I can do it, I'm not going to do it. This is my son. I love my son. I want to see my son again. And the Rebbe said to him, I can't help you. I don't know the answer. I don't know the answer. And this Yid, again, imagine, this is his son, his one and only son. This is his opportunity to keep his son. He has enough money to keep his son. And he says no, because the Rebbe said no, and if the Rav paskins no, I'm not going to do it. And he didn't even say no. He just says, I don't know what to tell you. And still, he said, I'm not going to do it. Because if the Rav said no, then it means I'm not going to do it. If the Rav says I don't know, that also means I don't know. So I'm just not going to do it. Which Tzvi Meisels brings down. He says this Yid, this father, walked around the rest of the day. He says it was like Rosh Hashanah for him. He said, I was zoicher to Akedas Yitzchak. I gave up my son, just like Avram Avinu. Avram Avinu didn't give up his son. I was giving up my son. I gave up my son. That was the Emunah that they had in those days. That's what kept them together. That's what it was. The story is told of a father that's standing in the line together with his daughter, and they're holding hands. Anyone that's a father knows this. Anyone that's a child knows this. You hold your parent's hand, you feel comforted, you feel better. A parent holds his daughter, his son. This is my son, this is my blood. The two are inseparable. And there's a daughter, this girl is 6 years old. She doesn't understand what's going on. She doesn't get it. She just doesn't see what's happening. Her mother, we know, was shot in front of the daughter's eyes. A few months ago, a 6-year-old child had to watch as the Nazis in Mashomam shot her mother in front of her eyes. And imagine a 6-year-old daughter seeing her mother being shot in front of her eyes. Rabbi said, we all have parents, Baruch Hashem. Could imagine, how could you live on? How do you continue? She's holding her father's hand. And the father knew where they were headed, on the way to the gas chambers. And he knew it was just a few minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour, they'll put on the gas. It's almost going to be over. And at that moment, the child, the daughter, 6-year-old child, looks up at her father and says, Tati, Tati. And he looks down, he says, what is it, my dear child? What is it that you want to ask at this time? And she says, Tati, is it true that Mashiach is going to come? Is it really true that Mashiach is going to come? And the father looks down at the child and says, yes, Mashiach is going to come. You'll see, Mashiach will be here. We say, that's what they lived with. That's what they experienced. We're all Yidden. The Mesiras Nefesh that they had to live as a Yid was incredible. We have to ask ourselves this question again and again. What is the Mesiras Nefesh that we have to live as a Yid? We live as a Yid, we have free choice. We live in a generation, we can do whatever we want. We have every luxury. We have everything at our disposal. They didn't. And they lived with the Mesiras Nefesh. They lived with the Rabbeinu Shalom. That's all that mattered. Was with the Rabbeinu Shalom. Mashiach, when's it coming? When is the Geula? When is this over? We have to ask ourselves at this time, what do we think? What's in our thought process? Does it really make a difference? Which car, which phone, what is Narishkeit? It means nothing compared to what they went through. Rabbi said a little bit of Mesiras Nefesh. Give up a little bit of yourselves for what they went through, that it shouldn't be for nothing. For our ancestors, many of our grandparents, great-grandparents, maybe great-great-grandparents, maybe they were here, and maybe they suffered in this place. For what? Just that the next generation would just give it up and live life the way they wanted to? Or that we, whether we're descendants or not descendants, but us hidden, these were our brothers, our sisters, these are our family members. They gave up their lives, not willingly, but for the Rabbeinu Shalom. We have to live Al Kiddush Hashem. We have to live our life for the Rabbeinu Shalom. We have to live our lives, that what really matters is not everything that we can try and get, the amass the most toys, but it's more we're living towards a goal of living with the Rabbeinu Shalom. It's that Mesiras Nefesh that I think we should think of at this time.